Happy Thursday, everybody.
Oh, happy
Happy
Thursday.
Thursday.
Happy Thursday.
How are you?
You know, I had a thought earlier this week. And the thought was, oh, I can hear your TV in the background. Um,
Okay.
my thought was, with me about to be married soon, will that make me less dangerous or more dangerous? And I'm thinking, it's gonna make me way more dangerous. You muted.
I'm sorry. Can you explain what that means? What do you mean more dangerous?
As far as the show goes, you know, I feel like I'm reaching a new pinnacle, a new height where I can say certain things and not even care. I feel like I don't want to be in the whole Kevin Samuel space or the Derek Waxon space.
Yeah.
But somewhere in between them two, I feel Professor Charles is about to be evolved into that new space.
Okay. Okay.
So it's gonna be different. It's gonna be
Yeah.
different. It's gonna be
I
different.
think, once I got married, I was very careful because there are some people that change relationship statuses and
Mm-hmm.
they become like pseudo experts and think they
Mm-hmm.
know it
Mm-hmm.
all. And I
Mm-hmm.
never wanted to be that person. So, for example, you got single people, right? You got single, they have their own opinion.
Mm-hmm.
You get into a relationship for 5 minutes and you're like, in order to grab a man or in order to get a woman, you got to do these things. And it's like, girl, you just got into a relationship like 5 minutes ago. Don't do that. Or I get married, and then it's like, well, keys to a healthy, long lasting marriage.
Yeah.
Don't call me because I don't know.
Yeah.
I'll know what I'm doing to keep my marriage lasting and hopefully for a long time.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just, I tread lightly with that kind of stuff. How about you?
I feel you on that. I do. But I feel like with this, I feel like I just feel it's different. I don't want to say a sense of power, but more so like, I don't know, more so like that knowledge. You know what I'm saying? Of what it takes and all of the pitfalls and so forth and so on. And like I said, I'm like me just like really holding both sides accountable.
Yeah.
Because I usually kind of lean, towards, like fellas do a little bit better so the women can understand where you come from, blah, blah, blah. But I fell down the rabbit hole of these podcasts. And I always said, I was like, I won't watch these podcasts because um I don't want to feel like I'm biting someone's style. I don't want to feel
Mhm.
like I'm taking somebody's steeds. I don't want to feel like I'm doing this or whatever. But I felt like I had to like dive in and see like what the pulse is, because we've been from our own little silo for quite a little while. Yeah, we get the little tidbits from the interwebs and we speak on our piece or whatever. But to really be at the heart, be at the center of what these folks is talking about, and everybody's crazy.
Yeah, I find that my peace is when I just unplug from the volatile posts. And I
Mm,
think, the way that social media is set up, they focus on the negative think pieces, the
Mhm.
inflammatory
Mhm.
posts, and they make it like it's society's view. And it's like, but you fail to realize that you have those 5 bad comments about this thing, but you
Mhm.
have like 25 million good ones, and you're not highlighting any of those.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
it's like, are you trying to sway the public to think that we feel this way,
Mhm.
or what? What are you trying to do?
Mhm. Mhm.
So I find that my peace is when I just unplug, and unplugging has done the world a difference.
Mhm.
And there was a post today that Reginae Carter had made with regards to her boyfriend Armin Warren, and her
Well, I
house
know
had
who those people are.
yeah, her house had recently been broken into, and I guess they just experienced a breakup. And so her thing was, he's posting a video on YouTube, and he didn't even check on me. And so she's coming on
Oh.
here playing the victim,
Mhm.
and I'm just like, if you don't want to be bashed for bringing your relationship woes to social media, stay off the internet. Do like the majority of us do, and take your woes to your man.
Mhm.
To your
Mhm.
okay.
Mhm. Mhm. Mhm.
Privacy never hurt nobody.
Mhm. Yeah, so that that sounded like one of the terms that I've heard over the last couple of weeks of like doing, I guess, like exploratory research on this, podcast stuff. Um, Selective femininity. It's so weird, like to even say out of my mouth.
Oh yeah.
It's just like, okay, you want everything this way, but you also want everything that way.
Yeah. I think we all have an element of selectivity, and I think,
Mm,
when you say it out loud, it just sounds stupid.
it does. It
Like
really
selective
does.
outrage, selective cancel culture,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
selective masculinity, selective feminine, all
yeah,
this selectivity. Like when you
yeah.
really vocalize it out loud,
It
it
doesn't.
sounds stupid.
It sounds
Sounds
stupid.
stupid.
It
Yeah.
sounds stupid. Well, that was our little diatribe. Welcome everybody to Dayton University.
Yes.
I'm, I'm your co-host, Professor Charles, along with my beautiful co-host.
Thank
Oh,
you,
look at
Professor Brittany. I'm right here.
indeed.
Yeah.
Yeah, and here are
We'll get
Dayton.
the direction right one of these days, because
One
I'm
of
like,
these days. Yeah,
and
yeah,
this,
yeah.
yeah. I'm Professor Brittany. Thank you.
Indeed, indeed.
What did we discuss?
The good
The bad
and the ugly.
of all things dating and relationships. All things, y'all.
Absolutely, absolutely.
All
So,
things.
so
Oh,
speaking of,
congratulations, Latoya. Almost 5 years.
oh, congrats! Yes,
Yeah.
yes. Let's give it up. Let's give it
No
up.
experts at all.
Let's give it
No
up. Let's give it up.
experts.
So, what are we talking about tonight, man? We're doing it. It's another hodgepodge episode. So, the interwebs, the internets have been a buzz over the last couple of weeks with think pieces and thought processes and bashing and applauding and also all of the things that normally happens when we scroll through the feeds and the timelines. The biggest thing that we talked about, I think, was the Ebony K. Williams statement about she was on Iyanla Van Zant's show,
Hmm.
or vice versa. Couldn't really tell whose show it was, and they were discussing, relationships, so forth, so on. Dr. Van Zant asked Ebony K. Williams, would she date a bus driver? And Ebony K. Williams said, if he owned it. Dr. Van Zant called her out, said, no, that's not how you're supposed to be thinking, blah, blah, blah. It got into a whole thing. The internet got a hold of it and it just went.
Okay.
So she tried to come back to, I guess, clarify her statement, but she doubled down several times on several other, well-known shows and podcasts or whatever. And I want to hear from everybody else. Like, how do y'all feel? I'm gonna give my opinion on it. I'm gonna do my opinion first. Um, that's her choice. That's her choice. She has a lifestyle in which she leads that she's been leading for quite a little while.
Hmm.
Um, and it's solely up to her, like who she wants to have in her space. She feels as though someone who is in that station of blue collar work or what have you
Hmm.
is not in the station of which she would want to be in a relationship with. And hey, as all the times we done bashed, well, not we here at Dayton University, but the world has bashed everybody for having preferences and all this other stuff and everything. So now everybody's mad at her because now she's calling bus drivers. Uh, well, the I don't want to say she's calling because she did not call them, but the assumption is that her views of people who are blue collar workers, bus drivers, or whatever that are not owners are, average.
And that's the thing. Like, people take what someone says as their preference and they make it so that it's speaking to them.
Yeah, yeah.
Can we just stop that? Like,
Mm,
if somebody has a preference, right? And let's say I'm not their preference, I'm not offended.
mm,
I'm not trying to date you anyway.
mm,
And if I'm not, let's learn how to deal with rejection. Can we do
mm,
that? That as well.
mm,
So just know if you're a bus driver, you're not her type. But it's okay because she's only one out of a quadrillion other people.
mm.
I think people take this outrage. And my question is, why are you mad?
You know,
Why
I,
are you mad?
yeah, I guess people are feeling away because they are it, eh, they want to give voice to the quote unquote voiceless when it comes to how the dating scene is now.
Mm,
And and that's part of the research, or just me just trolling all of these other podcasts that I've been seeing, is that the women that are on these podcasts, they want the man to provide every single thing for them, and then they also want their own money, and yet they also want the man to not only provide every single thing for them, they also want them to be there emotionally, physically, spiritually, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And so then you got the capers that are coming out, what I'm saying, to, try to ride for the quote unquote average people. And I'm like, so who's right? Who's wrong? Yeah, for me, I
but that's
really
also go
go
ahead.
ahead.
But that's also the problem. Like, everything doesn't have to be a right or wrong. Like,
Mm,
you can't tell somebody that their preference is wrong unless they're legitimately hating another group of people.
right, right.
But in no way, shape, or form, I'm not familiar if she said, I hate bus drivers. I don't like
Yeah, that
bus.
would be wild. That would be wild.
Yeah, but if
That
she
would
didn't
be really
say
wild.
that
Right.
and that's her preference, allow her to have her preference.
Hmm.
I just feel like when it comes to black women, when we have a preference, it seems to be a problem. Why?
Mm,
Why?
I'm gonna tell you why. I'm gonna tell you why. I'm gonna tell you why. It's and I'm not trying to be on this red pill nonsense. I'm really not. But it's these narratives that are being spewed out without having actual facts behind them. is
Hmm.
giving a sense of entitlement to these people, that they feel like, oh, well, I deserve XYZ because I've done ABC. And that doesn't necessarily, you've done stuff doesn't necessarily make you worthy of a relationship.
Hmm.
So yeah, no problem. I mean, hey, oh, here we go. When that passport bro was on, it was cool that they wanted non-American woman as a preference. Okay, okay, that's not okay.
I mean, but
Exactly.
that was the point that I was alluding to. Like, there's a lot of outrage over this woman saying this coming from black men. Because reading the comments, it's like y'all seem like y'all tried to date her and she turned you down specifically.
Exactly.
But
Right.
that's so my point goes back to when a black woman gives her preference and all these black men have outrage. It's like, okay, extend to us the same grace. Because for me, when it comes to the passport bros, I didn't care. I'm
Hmm.
like, go do you, fly across the country or fly
Exactly.
wherever you want to go and do you.
Exactly.
Give that same sentiment to this woman. If that's her
But
preference,
here's the
then go
problem.
date them.
Here's the rub. Here's the rub. It wasn't the men. It wasn't the men. It was the women who were coming after her. It
But
was
what
the
were the women
women.
saying?
The woman was just like, "How dare you? Why are you demeaning this a man who makes XYZ kind of money? Like you want this baller type?" Nah, I said, yeah, it was a little bit both, but it was majority women. And I'm only saying that is because, like I said, doing my research, looking and watching, and I'm like, most of the guys are just like, well, shit, that ain't for me. That ain't for me. That ain't my woman. A lot of these people didn't even know who the hell Ebony K. Williams was before this clip became viral.
Isn't that something? Wow.
So let's be clear about that. Let's be clear about that. So
Yeah.
yeah, no, we're not gonna sit up here and play the struggle Olympics about it, of like, well, the semantics about it, of like, well, who was coming for her more and who was coming for her less. No, we're just gonna call out the whole damn thing. It's just what it is. And that's the problem. We're always so quick to point the finger at the other side. Well, they was coming for her too. Well, they was coming for her too. Like, bruh, no. That woman had a statement about her life, her lifestyle, how the hell she wanted to live, and that's just it. She stood on her 2 feet about it, and she called everybody else off of it. So how y'all feeling about it is how y'all feeling about it. Me personally, I'm like, hey, me making my little bit of money, knowing that she makes around $4 million a year, being an attorney, a celebrity, a talk show host, everything sort of thing. Like, yeah, bruh, I'm not in her tax bracket. I am.
Yeah.
I am not.
But I think the interesting point of this is, though, that when it came to passport bros, I didn't see as much backlash from men when it came time to, saying what they were doing, how they were going about it. I mean, women, we said our stuff, not saying we did
Mhm,
not.
mhm.
But are these men that are coming for, the bus driver comment giving the same energy when a woman has a preference?
Why does it even matter though?
It
That's the
does, because
that's the
that's unfair.
problem.
A
What's the
preference, a
problem?
preference is a preference. That
Okay.
that's the bottom line. So as people are left alone with the passport bros, extend that same silence when it comes to somebody else, a woman giving her preference. I'm an equal opportunist. If you got your preference,
Same.
you got your preference. That's all I'm saying. Like,
Yeah.
let's leave it at that. Let's let people live in their preference and keep
Mhm.
it moving. As long as they are not coming for me in their preference or
Exactly.
not being hateful, I'm just like, do
Exactly.
you? Do
Exactly.
you? Now it would be something if she was like, bus drivers, they lack good hygiene, they don't have no money, they're dumb.
Mhm.
She didn't say that. And I think
Mm-mm.
people are reading into it for that.
People are reading into it because they felt like they really felt like she was coming for I guess the lower class of people. And then, while most of us are lower class people, let's keep it 100, because I don't care if you ain't rich, you're poor. And that's just and
Can
that's
I
just
hold a couple? Can I hold a couple dollars?
that's the end of that comment. That's the end of that statement right there. If you ain't rich, you're poor. So they felt some kind of way, like, man, like, dang, you just going to downplay a whole group of people who might be good for you, because obviously her choices
I mean,
weren't the greatest. Yeah, she was dating, other celebrities or other well-known people who were making X amount of money or what have you, but those relationships, dating situationships did not work out. She's 30 and what, 39, going on 40 or something like that. And she's not married, whatever. So yeah, they didn't work out.
I mean, here's the thing. It sounds nice. It does. Like, you should give everybody a chance. You should love whoever. I mean, everybody is deserving of love, right?
Mm-hmm.
BS. I've never heard somebody say date down. If you're here economically, if you're making a certain
Mm.
amount, give a chance to everybody, even those that make much less than you. Go for that too. Like, no, I've never
Wait
heard
a minute.
anyone say that.
Okay. So that's bringing up a whole nother thing. So now we're basing the worth of people on how much money they make. Is that what you're saying?
I'm not saying I do that, but is society really like, oh, love whoever? Sure, actions show that.
Mm. And I think that's probably what the main
Money is a motivator.
money
It
is a
is. We can't
motivator.
lie and say it's
And
not.
no one is saying anything about anybody didn't say anything about love. Anybody saying about, is this person treating me right?
I
Is this
mean,
person being kind to me? Is this person helping me in a way that, any other type of thing? You know, nigga, come on in. Come on. You ain't saying nothing. You ain't saying nothing. You ain't saying nothing. Come on. You need an invite.
come on, Neens. I mean, it sounds good, but she's not the only one that feels that way.
And I understand that. And I do understand that. But where is the grace when it comes to people? Like, since when did it become, or like, when did it get to this age of like, well, shit, I got my degrees, I'm making $60,000 a year. I can do all this shit by myself. I don't need no man. I can do all this shit by myself. I don't need no woman. And then you go into this whole complaining phase of like, well, ain't nobody good out here. Ain't nobody good enough. That's the problem I'm having. Where is this whole thing of like, you're basing this good enough on the net worth of these people?
I
It's
mean,
like
it's a
okay,
factor.
you
That's
got the
not the
money.
sole determining factor, but it is a factor.
So what's the so all right? So what's so tell me what the factor is. Tell me what the factor. The
The
man.
factors
Oh,
are.
so all right. So say you make $65,000 a year, right? Okay. You meet a nice young gentleman. He's only making 42,000 a year.
I mean, that's not a substantial difference if we look at the economy.
He's making
Let's say you have a net worth of like
he's
10
making
million.
$27,000 a year. He only
Let's
makes.
say you have a net worth of 10 million,
Mm-hmm.
and then you meet somebody with a net worth of 27,000.
Mm-hmm.
They may not even travel in the same circle.
They don't.
They don't. So
So that means that they're just out of the question. Like,
they're not out of the question, but they're definitely out of the picture.
oh,
Like, I'm not in
what does that
contact with
even
people.
mean? What does that even mean?
I'm not even hobnobbing in circles with people that have net worths of like 30, 40 million. I'm not.
Mm-hmm.
So to have access, I mean, honestly, she's not in the circle of people that drive buses. And
No,
that's
she's not.
okay. She can say
Exactly.
that's not her preference.
And I'm okay. And I'm okay with that. I'm more so of drawing attention to the people who aren't making six figures
Right.
who
And they're
feel
offended.
like they got to say in what this person's preference is or what have you.
Let me send you the link, Neen. Give me a second. Go ahead. Keep going, Charles.
No, because she going to come in with the whole, like, I make this kind of money and da. Yeah, I hate you. I hate you.
No, keep going. I'm gonna send the link. We love when we have professionals that want to come in on the show.
Mm-hmm. So Andrea said, "Con don't keep the lights on." No, it doesn't. But if someone is making that kind of money, that doesn't necessarily make them good people anyway.
I
And
mean,
that's
but you
what
never
I'm just.
know.
I'm trying to find the correlation. Like that's basically where I'm at. I'm
So,
really
but
trying
we
to find
can't
the
we can't
correlation
assume that.
between. I'm trying to find a correlation between a person's income, their demeanor, or how they treat a person versus what they don't make, and where does love come in?
So I
Or,
wonder if we can make it more realistic. Like,
mhm,
let's say you met a homeless person on the street, good
mhm,
heart, good
mhm.
personality. Would you personally date him or her? Would you date her?
Absolutely, probably not. I'm gonna be honest with you. Exactly, because I don't have a pro. I know what my preference is, but I'm not going to sit up here and bash somebody because of it.
But she wasn't bashing. She
No, I'm
wasn't
not saying
bashing.
Ebony. I'm not saying Ebony
Oh,
was.
okay.
I'm
I'm like,
saying
she wasn't
everybody
bashing.
else who was bashing her because of her preference. Remind you, I'm on her side because I'm like, hey, look, hey, man, look, if you ain't in my tax bracket, I get it because you're used to a certain dating aspect, right? You're used to dating in a certain circle. You're used to dating in a certain tax bracket.
Right. Ania, check your Facebook Messenger if you have access to it. That's the only way we can get you in.
Exactly. Exactly. I'm on her side as well. I'm just trying to figure
I
out.
really wish we could get in contact with someone that truly is offended by her preference, and I want to understand why.
Right.
I think that's it for me.
Right. Right. I think that part right there will be it will shine a better light on why they feel the way they feel. And because it all is doing is perpetuating this idea of you gotta have a boss, you gotta have a boss, you gotta be a boss in order to be in my space. You can't I mean, I'm telling you, I've seen so many things talking about I can't mess with a dude who got a 9 to 5. I need somebody who got that money. I'm like, but you look broke as hell. Like you got nothing. Oh, here we go. What's up, Shorty? Oh,
Hey
hey,
guys.
Hi,
welcome, Amir. Welcome, welcome, welcome. How you doing?
welcome. You look beautiful.
Thank you.
All right,
Sorry
so
the light is not great, but
go ahead, get your piece. So we can.
um well finish up what you were saying because I came in kind of in
No,
the middle
I
of
can't
your
even remember
sentence.
what I was saying.
Come on,
Okay.
give us what you got, baby.
So I agree with Andrea what she was saying um in the chat. But part of it too, I feel like when women, particularly black women, um state a preference when it comes to money, I think the immediate thing is, well, what if he's just a really nice guy? And I feel like that statement, like, I understand where that's coming from, but I think there's always this exceptionalism attached to men that earn below a certain amount. There's this automatic, well, he must be really nice though. And to be quite honest, if I'm looking at my experiences, if I'm looking at the experiences of my friends, um, and again, we're not wealthy women, but we do okay. We can take care of ourselves.
Mhm.
All of us have dated men that have made less than us. Some
Hoocha.
of them still do and continue to do that. So
Hoocha.
I feel like we have experience in, in doing that. And a lot of times those guys weren't the nicest.
Mhm. Yeah,
They
it just
weren't the
runs.
best
It runs
partners.
the gambit. It runs the gambit.
Yeah.
Just
Of
again,
course,
every
but I'm
single time.
saying that I think when people push forward the narrative that he must be a really nice guy if he doesn't, it's like we're missing out on all these really good guys that just don't make a lot of money. When number one, black women are already doing that. We're already dating men that make less than us, and we're overlooking that if he is, you know, seemingly a nice person. But a lot of
Yeah.
times you get in those relationships, and to be quite honest, even from where I sit, and it's like, again, not a wealthy person, but I do okay. There have been men that have been intimidated by the little that I did have.
Mm-hmm.
And I've literally asked point blank, do I make you feel a certain way
Mm-hmm.
about, this dynamic? And they'll say no. So
Mm-hmm.
to me, it's coming from an ego place. The
Mm-hmm.
value that we
Mm.
place on money and when it comes to people is not something that like women invented, black women invented. I think people are mad of the system of capitalism. Like we're upset at these systems and how they operate. um but I don't think people do anything to really challenge it or tear down the systems. We just play along with it. And so when black women do, it's like, you're not going to overlook this man's salary. And again, like she said, it doesn't pay the bills, unfortunately. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I'm saying? Like in those relationships that I've had where there is that disparity of income, like, yeah, it's okay, but I think it still has a stopping point, because sometimes you get too deep into a relationship where finances really do matter. If you're going to move in together, if you're thinking about, you know, traveling, going on trips, different activities, different things like that, and that comes into play. So innately, no, it doesn't matter. But one, like I said, I find men have a greater issue with it than I've had.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, along the line, that's going to be an issue. And the person that you're partnered with has such an impact on your life. And I think to downplay the role that, finances can play in that is, I think, a bit,
Yeah.
you know, I just
Yeah.
dishonest, because
Yeah.
that's just
I
not
feel
the
you.
society that
And
we
I
live in.
right, and I wholeheartedly agree with like 99.9% of what you were saying. Like you hit the nail on the head on some very huge and key uh levels, like, and I appreciate you coming with a spirit of understanding and uh telling your truth
Yeah.
about your experiences that you've had with these men. And I find it I find it disheartening that the wages of people, because yes, I get it, the black women are doing their thing. They are getting more and more degrees, and that is boosting their earning potentials and their thing. And then you got the men who are either they're already at that level and then they're in a different space when
Hmm.
it comes to dating, because they might look, people that make that kind of money may look at someone else who makes your kind of money and like, no, you can't even, you're not even up here. And that makes it even harder, because now it's just like, well, damn, I can't date quote unquote down, and I can't date up. So yeah, it puts you in a little funky space of like,
Yeah.
well, what the hell am I supposed to do? Because now I'm just like, well, do I just settle for mediocre, or do I like still try to attain somebody who has, you know, equal or greater value as far as like finances are concerned? So
Because
yeah.
even the sustainability of it all,
Mm,
like, in the beginning, you get to know one another. He's cool, you're cool, we're
Yep.
cool, we're lovey dovey. But
mm-hmm,
then, fast forward a couple of months and you're footing the bill on everything.
Yep.
You're footing the bill. You're footing the bill. You're footing the bill. There's gonna come a time when
yeah,
you're like,
the
I would
resentment
like to not have to pick up every bill.
mm-hmm.
Or let's say you get into an argument. What's the first thing that's gonna come out Said's mouth? That person's mouth. You doing what? And you bringing what to the
And I
Yeah.
think men can be uncomfortable with that dynamic as well because money does equate to power in
Mm-hmm.
our society. So having a woman have this quote unquote power over them can make them feel very, resentful. But I think even on the flip side of that, even if, let's say, the woman is totally okay with footing the bill, I think just in like more traditional relationships where if the man was solely the financial provider, the woman did, the things at home. I think men could do that, but they don't. I've dated men, like I said, that have made less, that I've had to pay for a lot of things. And I got to ask them
But
to
why
take out
did
the
you?
trash.
That's the
Or
question. Why did you?
why did I date them?
Yeah. Why did you date them, and why did you foot the bill on things that you felt that it was not a strain on your pockets, but more so a strain on your mental, as far as like, well,
It's not initially. I think that happens
Yeah.
over time.
Over
And that's
time.
what Brittany was saying. And my point is that, like, even if you can't carry the same weight financially, if I have to ask you to like take out the trash or help me, or to do the dishes or do things like that, it's just like, dude, I'm like,
Doing it
come and
all.
help me with something. And I don't think all the time that men are showing up in those situations like, okay, I'm lacking in this area, so let me show
mm-hmm,
up in this way. I
mm-hmm,
think that sometimes women are more comfortable in that dynamic, so when it is that disparity of income and the man is making more, then a
mm-hmm.
woman probably is doing more of the household things. Men aren't as accustomed to that. So that's been my experience. I have a friend that went through the exact same thing. This isn't just like,
The generalization is getting me right
it
there.
is a generalization, but I'm generalizing the situation. Like, I understand that there are exceptions, but I think in these
They're more than an
conversations,
exception.
people
I mean,
want
because people
to,
are out here living and breathing and still handling what the heck they're supposed to handle. They may not have a house, but they got an apartment. They
yeah,
may
I'm
not have
not saying
a
all of
car, but
that.
they can get around. They may not, you know what I'm saying? So it's not
I
even
understand that.
okay.
I'm not downing people in those situations at all. I think that's
Mhm,
great. And I've never dated somebody that's like totally, uh, just down and out where they didn't have their own place or anything like that. But there were
mhm,
situations where I knew, okay, if we go to such and such a place to eat,
mhm.
or if we take this trip, I'm probably going to have to foot most of the bill in this situation.
Yeah.
But my point is, like, just show
Well,
up.
that's a hurting point for you, even if the guy is. So you're saying if he's
It's
pulling,
not.
so you're saying if he's pulling his weight in other ways, then you won't feel such
Yeah,
a
I
it won't
think
feel like
Right.
resentment
a
sets
burden.
in
Is
when
that
there
what you're
is an
saying?
inequity
Uh-huh.
and there's not something being compensated
Sure.
in another area.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's not just simply doing it that I'm like, oh, I hate digging in my pocket. Like, if I have it, I have
Right.
it to give to anybody, to my friends, to my family, to the person that
Mm-hmm,
I'm dating. Like, it is what it is.
mm-hmm,
But I don't feel taken advantage of if I know that those people are also pouring into me too. It may not be in the exact same manner,
mm-hmm,
but there
mm-hmm.
has to be something.
Right.
Yeah.
And I get and that's what I'm trying to get to. Like I want people to understand, like, yeah, there's always going to be some small disparity when it comes to dating in the financial part. You know what I'm saying? It's always going to be somebody that makes either slightly more or slightly less. You know what I'm saying? It just, if y'all work in the same job and y'all get paid the exact same thing, then hey, it is what it
Right.
is.
And that's
Right.
rare.
It's a push.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
Right.
saying? You pay for
More
me
more often than not, it's gonna be different.
more,
I
more.
literally dated somebody. So because I live in a downtown area, I worked in DC. I don't have a car. To me, that was the expense that I didn't need. I was dating someone a few years ago that made significantly less than me, but he had a car. And
Mm-hmm.
so there was a time I asked him um to pick me up from somewhere. And he was, hemming and hawing about doing it, right?
Mm-hmm.
But he would also complain about feeling like he couldn't do anything for me in the relationship
Mm-hmm.
financially. So I
Mm-hmm.
think like men like
Mm.
that, like him, want to show up in a very specific traditional way
Mm-hmm.
that men show up financially.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm like, I'm specifically asking you to do something for me in the way that you actually can, and you're resistant to that. You know what I mean? It's things like that where I feel like it's the reason why this topic was so salacious is because it really hits at the core of a lot of men's egos. Because if they don't make a certain amount, then it's like it's
a lot of
they
men,
look at
a
their
lot of men
worthiness
feel,
in that regard.
a lot of
You
men
know?
feel like, you know, they cannot get the woman that they want because they don't have the pockets that the women want.
Exactly. And
And
when
it
men
makes, and it
when
makes,
men
and it
get
makes,
rich
it makes them,
and they have their pick, nobody's saying, well, you
Exactly.
need to date an ugly woman so to make sure that she's really loving you for you.
Right.
People accept the fact that rich men have access. If Diddy was not a billionaire, would he be toting around Carisha
No.
on all the award shows and X, Y, and Z? You know what I mean? Like, people don't blink twice at that.
Who's Carisha?
Young Miami.
Young Miami.
Oh, okay.
City
Okay.
Girls.
Yeah.
Would he
I
be
don't know.
doing that?
Okay.
It's probably going to be a no. You know what I'm saying? But no
Mhm.
one blinks an eye at that because we're accustomed to that dynamic. And I think as things shift, it becomes, oh, even before, you know, you call me up here, you're like, well, she's going to talk about, oh, I make all this and I do this. That's never been my attitude at all. Number one, I wish I made all this and all that. I do okay. I can take care of myself. And I'm proud of that fact because I was born and raised in Baltimore City. I had a single mother. There were different things that were against me just statistically in terms of where I fell. So for me to be in a position where I can have a certain job, live in a certain place, do certain things. I'm on a trip right now that I fully paid for by myself in Costa Rica in a very nice place.
Yes,
And I'm proud of that I can do
mamacita.
those things for myself. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's never something that I told out to men like, I don't need you for shit. And it's never, and it
Yeah.
will never be that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
But
that's
I
fantastic. And I applaud you for that. I really do.
but I
I
think
applaud you.
there's
Yeah.
I
I
take so
mean,
much
dating.
exception in the conversation too because it's like it's hard to feel proud when a lot of the times being in this very position that I'm in, um, it does tend to quote unquote intimidate certain people or make them feel uncomfortable just by virtue. Not even I don't even have to go into depth of anything that I'm doing, have done, accomplished, whatever. It's just looking at me and knowing. And to your previous point about, you know, women being like, oh, I have this and that and I don't need no man. I think the need part, wanting a partner and companionship is something that most humans have. Needing someone to take care of you is a different thing. So when women are saying like, yeah, if I'm not in a relationship, I can still live in my home. I can still pay my bills. I can still feed myself. I can still take care of my kids and do what I need to do. That's not a woman saying that I don't want or long for a partner, for a companion.
I think that's a human thing. I think
Yeah.
that's a human thing
It
because
is, but I think
because
that gets taken
it
out
was
of that
times where I
context. And
lived by myself and I handled my business, and then I would meet women who had way less, and I found that disturbing, to be honest, because I'm just like, oh, I thought women are supposed to have their shit together. I'm like, I literally had dated this one chick, and you know, she was living with somebody, and I think she was living with her like aunt or something like that. And we went out on one date, and she was just like, "You live by yourself?" I'm like, "Yeah." You want a roommate? No. Like, this date one. Like, what are you
yeah.
talking about? So yeah, I understand, you know, saying that part. You know, I think it's a human thing. I think we get so caught up in our own stuff that we do that we, like, you know, in a general sense, not a more specific sense, that we, you know, we equate like us doing the normal stuff is what we're supposed to do as human beings, as the human adults that have moved out of our parents' house is supposed to do. We make it so outlandish that it gives a certain, I don't know, elitism for those who doesn't have it. And I think the people who aren't on that level resent the people who are just doing the norm. And I think like, and I know it's a side, but I think I'm coming to your same point. It's it's a weird thing that people are feel that way just because someone has something slightly more than what you have, and they shouldn't feel intimidated by you who have worked hard, went to school, climbed the corporate ladder, got shot down, the glass ceilings, all this
Yeah,
thing,
for sure.
Yeah.
Because
and then
I don't think
and
we
then
get
you
enough credit for
finally
that
right,
aspect
and you
too. Like
finally
I
get
know that black men are like, man, it's hard out here it's like we all have our individual struggles as a woman in the
absolutely,
workplace, as a black
absolutely.
woman being perceived in certain spaces as not capable or competent, or most of us black don't crack, so we look younger. So there's
Hmm.
an automatic, association to that when you walk in a room and they're just like, oh, look at this little baby. It's like, no, I have 10 years of experience. So
Exactly.
there's
I get
that. You know what I
I get
mean?
the
Like, I
same
think that
thing,
there are different battles that we
Yeah.
have to face. And that's not a conversation about work struggles. I'm just saying that ultimately the narrative about all black women or black women at a certain level feeling like I don't need no man. It's literally like it's not a necessity to be
Sure.
taken care of.
Mhm.
Well, we can take and I thank God that I don't need a man to take care of me because I'd be asked out. You know
Yeah.
what
Mhm.
I'm saying? Like, I don't think that reliance is like healthy necessarily, but I think
Right.
we all need companionship. And I think
Exactly.
that's the thing that we're saying. And I think in a lot of instances, I think women, number one, like I said, women are already dating men that don't make as much as them. So I just
Mhm.
feel like this whole conversation was funny to me because I'm like, I don't know not one woman that hasn't dated a man that's made less than her. I don't personally. And maybe that's because of my particular circle that I'm
Mhm.
in,
Mhm.
but that's the truth of my circle, right?
Mhm.
So I just think the conversation about, well, y'all need to think about we already do. We're already
Yeah.
doing it. We've
We're in
already
such
been
a
doing
weird
it. We're
spot.
already there, right?
Yeah, we're in such a weird spot because I can remember, online dating and, having the degrees and the accolades, listing them was good for me and made me look good on paper. But I've literally had men be like, where do I fit in? Like, you don't need me. I feel like you got everything handled.
Mhm.
So I'm gonna just rock with Shorty that's over here struggling. And I've had
Exactly.
that happen on numerous occasions where
Exactly.
it's like, I'm coming to the table with what you want, but I guess that's too much because you don't feel like
I mean,
you're
but
you're
was it
getting
what they
time
wanted
from me.
though? I mean, was it what they wanted though? I mean, because certain men have certain different requirements. You know what I'm saying? Like not everybody, gives a damn about, degrees and you're a senior manager, VP of XYZ, whatever. Some men don't even care about that. Some men care about, hey, are you a safe place to land? Can I trust you? Are you
Sure.
bringing me peace?
Absolutely.
Can you, and I hate to bring up this because I am in my house, I'm probably the better cook, but like, can you cook? You know what I'm saying? It's something like that. Not to say that, that, oh, hold on, how
I
did you get
know.
how did you get my profile picture? That was weird. So and that's
Right.
I think that's the thing. I think women are equate some women who are achieving these things are thinking that is what men want. Like no, like men are wanting a counterpart to who they are.
Right. But
They
And
already
I
feel,
think the
they
same with
already
women,
feel
that.
strong. They already feel accomplished.
because
Saying, hey, they may not, hey, they may just be like a supervisor at the DPW. You know what I'm saying? They may be that, but but what I'm saying, they may not necessarily need somebody who has all of those accolades. They just need somebody who's like,
Right, for
hey,
sure.
you
So
can be
then,
I'm
great.
gonna be real. I'd never thought anything about dating when I was on my career path. It wasn't to attract men. Like, and then
Mhm.
when I got older and became an adult and am going through life and dating, that was, like I said, it's never been something that I put out to the forefront. But my point is that as things are shifting,
Mhm.
because like I said, women are already dating men that make less than them. Fine. We see that. I
At
think
this
women
point,
ideally would want
at
somebody
this
that
point,
doesn't. But I think the other thing that women are wanting, and there have been studies about this that have recently come out, is like, women are opting to be single because of the lack of emotional intelligence. If men came to the relationship, to the dating space as partners looking to, be equals, then I think there would be more space of negotiation about who does this and who does that. Because I think all the gender roles, all this, that, and the other is very antiquated, like at this point. And so,
all of
if
them,
not, I don't know. I have strong opinions about gender roles. My point is just that people need to play to their strengths. Because I'm a woman, it doesn't mean innately that I'm good at X, Y, and Z, or as a man, you're good at X, Y, and Z. I think people have different attributes and you play to your strengths in a relationship and you operate that way. That's my personal opinion. If people want to operate their relationship traditionally or whatever, that's on them. But I think that more women are seeing that even if a man makes a certain amount, if he's not an emotionally safe space for her, because men talk about, I'm the protector and the provider. Do you protect her feelings? Do you protect her mental health and her peace? Like, can she trust you? Are you a safe space for her? Like, those things as well matter to women. And I think women like me, women in my circle of friends, are more so looking for that dynamic versus a certain dollar amount. Now, if there is a huge disparity, I'm going to be real, I wouldn't be interested. Not at this point. I just wouldn't, because I know that if I was making, twice the amount of someone else, I just think I'm going to have to dip so much into my pocket to level us out that it's going to create more issues than I'm personally willing to deal with. But just simply, I'm not asking somebody for their W-2s on a first date and like assessing people in that regard.
Right.
But can you take care of yourself? Are you good? Are you financially stable? Are you sound? And where you are, is this going to be a partnership situation? That's what's most important to me.
I'm going to piggyback off of your point about the studies. And the studies go on, and there are like the Pew Research study that just
What is
came
single
out.
mom culture?
Yeah.
I'm confused because who created that?
We'll unpack that. We'll unpack that in a little
Okay.
bit. I just wanted to
Because I
highlight.
feel like we don't make babies alone.
I
So
just wanted to
how
highlight.
do we have a, okay.
So the thing of it is, like, women, in our age bracket, and this is from the research, they start to cap out the closer they get to 40, 45, etc. Men start to cap out 10
What does
years
cap out mean?
after, as far as their earning potential.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So, that sort of thing. So it's like, yeah, we may be slower, but we, men do tend to, at the end, as far as like, if you decide to get past the dating phase and go into a relationship phase and ultimately maybe marriage phase, yeah, the earning potential goes at least 10 years beyond where women are typically are ending at.
I've
So
not heard that before.
oh yeah, it's in the recent Pew Research Center. I had to look it up myself because I heard somebody mention it in one of the podcasts. I was like, all right, let me look it up myself, because I'm not going to sit up here and just spew red pill bullshit without having my own
Yeah, because they become statisticians when it's time to denigrate or uh when it's time to talk about Black women, they got all the stats, and I'm like,
So why is that?
where is this from?
So
Just
why?
randomfacts.gov? Like,
No,
where
it's
is this
not.
information from? Because that's how it seems sometimes. Like, they're like,
No, and it can seem
88% of
that way,
single
and it
Black
can seem that
mothers
way.
are. It's just like, what?
It can
Who
seem
told you
that way.
this?
It absolutely can seem that way, but is one
Claw.
thing to it's one thing
Claw.
to say that
Claw.
men aren't emotionally available. Well, what percentage where are you getting that, and where are you getting that
I
from?
don't have a percentage for that. To me, I'm
Exactly.
just saying anecdotally from my experience
Exactly.
that
So it's
just because
anecdotally,
I've
and
dated
you have
men that
statistical
didn't make
facts.
a
So
certain
how do we
amount didn't
go?
make them
Hold on,
emotionally
man.
intelligent and good partners.
I
People
get
want
it.
to say these you're missing out on men of good character. When I'm like the men that I've dated that hadn't made as much, they aren't necessarily just open to therapy or or like I said, showing up as partners, willing to
Mhm.
help out in different ways. Like that's been my experience. I've seen my friends literally have the same struggle,
Mhm.
the exact same thing,
Mhm.
where I'm just like,
Claude. Claude. Claude.
please help.
Claude.
So I think men need to be less concerned about the income disparity and more concerned about how they show up as partners. Because if the need
I
financially
honestly
is
feel like there's a
disseminating of what women need, you have to come with something else.
I feel like there is a it's the squeaky wheel syndrome. I think it's the squeaky wheel from the women who feel like men aren't emotionally available, and it's the squeaky wheel from the men who feel like women aren't either feminine enough for their taste or whatever. So those squeaky wheels get the attention, and we get lost in that. And so this is what we're doing. We're doing
I
this.
don't
Like
get. I just go off my
we're doing this
experiences.
back and forth, like like they want us to, instead
Mm.
of coming up with a solution of like, hey, you know what? Maybe the system don't want us together. They want us to feel like, well, this person makes more money than you, so therefore you shouldn't even entertain them. And then you got the other side that was like, well, them women don't even want you because they feel like you can't even, come up off of your high horse for a hot second to be, in a softer submissive role. So and the sooner we stop this bullshit and get together and stop feeling this way and stop giving voices to them squeaky wheels who give this false fucking narrative about all of this bull, we can be okay. We can move forward.
I
We can
think
find the men who, the women can find the men who are emotionally intelligent and they may have the earning potential. And then men can find the women who do have the money that, they feel like, they don't feel taken advantage of for whatever money that themselves make, and also have the woman of their dreams. So I'm
I don't
Yeah.
know. I think these are like more systemic things, and it's not as easy to because
that's
to me
exactly what I'm
the
saying.
stance of lack of emotional intelligence when it comes to men specifically has to do with socialization. It has to do with how we raise men to process or not process really their feelings in certain situations, to empathy and how they express emotion and all these sorts of things that like just we don't raise boys to do those things. I think that's starting to change, but I think we still have a long way to go, and there are a lot of people in our generation and the generations before us that
Mhm.
really aren't there. They're really averse to going to therapy.
Yeah.
They're kind of stuck in their mindsets, and a lot of it is not unfortunately going to shift for them. I can't really speak to you know the squeaky wheel of the men talking about women and their feminine. I don't even get involved in those conversations because I just think it's pointless. You know, like
Yeah.
a lot of the things that I see in those conversations that people view as like masculine or feminine or whatever are all kind of steeped in you know, these beliefs that I don't really hold. So
Mhm.
it's like they can squeak all day about it. They ain't really got shit to do with me. I just want to see men rise to the occasion in terms of how they show up as people. And I don't think there's a lack of women that are willing to meet them there if they are showing up as good partners, as good fathers, just as good people. Like, I don't think there's a lack in that space at all. So
One can argue that. One can argue that.
they're always going to be out. There are always going to be women that are just after certain things, that are gold, that are shallow, that are vapid in what they want. There are
Mhm.
far more people that just want a good person to do life with. There are far more people that want that.
Hmm. Everyone
Everyone needs
needs
to
to
go
go
to
to therapy in the
therapy, and the
minority
minority
community.
community need to grow up and stop making people who go to therapy feel like crap.
I don't even know what
I,
this
What
man is
makes
talking
you
about.
feel like crap?
I'm gonna go ahead and argue that. I don't think everyone needs to go to therapy, and I don't feel like the generation now and also the generation after us right now are demonizing people who do go to
Yeah,
therapy.
I don't see that.
I feel like that's becoming such a
I don't see
healthy
that.
norm at this point to kind of unpack, trauma and old hurts and things that we feel like we either dealt with that we really haven't dealt with. I mean, hell, I'm in premarital counseling now, and I'm like peeling back the damn onion, and I'm like I'm sitting in the damn thing blubbering my damn eyeballs out, and I feel better behind it. So yeah, I don't feel like every single person needs to go to therapy. It just depends on what it is that you want to either change about yourself because you've seen that you are the common denominator of the problems in your life, or you have a problem dealing with the triggers that has come at you.
Yeah, but I think that we all,
Mm,
in some way, shape, or form, have traumas that we
exactly.
need to deal with. I think we all need therapy. We
Hmm.
all, because we all have traumas and triggers that we don't even know about. And
Yeah,
we
Yep.
don't realize it until it's too late and we've already exploded or we're in this like sunken place. I think we all need it.
Yeah,
We
and it doesn't even have to be that severe necessarily of like, oh, I blew up on somebody or I did this or did that. But literally everybody experiences trauma in some shape. Of course,
Yeah.
it's to different levels and different degrees, but it's mostly just to give you tools to like work through those things and, you know, um just show up differently because like I said, I just think the way we're socialized. I think I was talking to Britt about this like some weeks ago, but just even if I look at my family and the way that the men in my family show up versus the women, the expectations that they have on the women versus I've seen that since I was younger. You know what I mean? Like if you look at holiday gatherings, who's like bringing the things, planning the things, the events, and you know what I mean? Like I just think we are taught to show up in different ways from a very very early age, and then it carries itself into adulthood, and then you look up and we're like,
How did we get here?
yeah, why
yeah.
isn't so and so doing X, Y, and Z?
That's a
So
good
I just,
analogy. That's a good analogy.
yeah, it's just a challenge to people, and I feel like if men out there hear this or listen to this and think like, I'm cool, I don't think I'm the problem, I'm good where I'm at, then God bless. You know what I'm saying? I
Yeah, you can't
just,
force anybody to go into uh to bend to your way of thinking or your
yeah, absolutely not. If
it
that's how
is
they
it
feel,
just
that's how
is
it
yeah,
is
it
what it
just is
is.
who it is. They're eventually gonna either find somebody who is either gonna humble that ass or accept that ass.
Okay. I like that.
Or neither. And I'm definitely in the group of women that I'm like, before, because I have seen, whether it's in my family or my friends, how deeply like an unhealthy relationship can impact you and put you on a certain trajectory, because I've literally seen that. I would just rather live my life and be full with the family and friends and experiences that I can build for myself versus trying to build that with someone that is not going to show up with some level of emotional intelligence, with a good amount of empathy, that is really going to be a partner and not just throw all these things onto me because, oh, you're the woman, you're supposed to do X, Y, and Z around the house and do A, B, and C for me or whatever. I'm going to always do for people in my life, but I think there's a bit of entitlement and certain dynamics that can show up that are unhealthy. And I think a lot of women are, it's tiring to both battle things at work in the corporate space, come home, have to do all the housework. If I'm going to do all that, I'd rather just do it by myself. I ain't going to lie.
Hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and I okay, I hear what you I hear what you're saying. I do. It's
I mean, showing up is it's a broad question,
mm,
and it really depends on the relationship and the people involved in it. Like what showing up may mean for Nia may be different for me, and then for
Mm-hmm.
Charles.
mhm.
So the
Yeah,
goal is articulate what you need. This is what I need from you to show up. That's what I want.
exactly.
Either you're going to show up for what I need and want, or you can go elsewhere. But yeah, show up is it's broad.
Yep.
It is a broad statement, and I wasn't going.
I
Brittany,
saw the comment. I was like, what
you
does it
got me,
mean to show up?
you got me, you right here with me.
Oh,
Because
I can't see it.
I wanted to bring that back up because I was just like, yeah, that was too good of a question to kind of just,
What was it? I didn't see it.
So,
I gotta
Michael,
go back.
I got it. I got you. I
You
got
got
you.
it.
Yep. So Michael asks, what does it mean to show up? It gives the person a non-tangible way to move the goalposts whenever they don't feel satisfaction at the moment. Now, uh, to your point, like Brittany, like you said, like it can run, you know, it's a broad question. Um, and also we have to recognize that we as humans we change. Our,
Right.
our expectations change. The things that we liked a year ago may not be the same things we like this year.
Right.
Yeah,
So
circumstances change when you
circumstances
have
change.
children.
I
Before I
mean,
can expect you to do X, Y, and Z. A child comes into the picture. Now I need you to.
it's a
You're
whole
the
different
morning
thing.
person. You wake up. You
Right.
do the morning feedings. Things
Right.
like that.
Exactly. So yeah,
Mhm.
those things can change, and it's all about where you and your partner are in a communication way. Are you yoked in the way that, if you say to your partner, hey, I feel like stuff is changing at the moment. um what I'm saying, I'm not demanding this from you, because we got to be careful of the words we use when we come to our partners, because like I always say, like we're dealing with a lot of other BS in the world. When we come home and we're with our partners, we have to speak to them in a way.
On both ends.
And then stop.
On both ends.
And
We
then
do. We
stop.
just said that.
Stop.
Yeah.
Stop.
Okay.
Stop. Because you know what I meant. You know I didn't mean for just one side.
Okay, I'm just
It wasn't.
clarifying. I
It
wasn't trying
wasn't.
to.
It wasn't
I
a
was
need
just
for a
clarifying.
Okay.
clarification. It wasn't
All
a
right,
need
Charles,
for it.
keep going. Go ahead,
They come
Charles.
from. They come from
All
a
right,
complete.
let's. We don't have to do that.
Okay, so like I'm saying, so we have to be mindful and just let our partners know, and our partners should be more receptive to that, of those changes, and we got to be okay with it, and then if you're not, then hell, that's another conversation that needs to be had, and you can move on,
Mm,
or move, I don't know.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I think one of the interesting things I've seen online is women talking about this idea of weaponized incompetence that they experience in their relationship, and it's basically
Oh yeah.
a concept of someone pretending or not trying to do a specific task basically in order for you to do it. Oh honey,
I
I
can't
can't make
cook.
eggs the way you do.
Right.
Oh, I was looking for this thing for 20 minutes, I just couldn't find it. It's like, at a point, I think showing up um means being proactive, being independent, not relying on your partner to list out, the chores and responsibilities of the household. You see laundry, you see dishes, you see trash, you see X, Y, and Z. It's like, you know what I mean? I think that it seems to be a common theme that I've seen um, in women, of just feeling like a lot of the household things kind of get left to them. They have to do a honey-do list for things to really get move in and get resolved. So I think showing up is just being a full adult, taking care of the things that need to be taken care of. You know, like that's what it means for me in particular, because I know if I were in that situation, and I've had situations similar to that, it's incredibly frustrating. It's incredibly frustrating. Incredibly so. And just like you were saying earlier about, you know, dealing with the BS, when you work in a corporate space and there are very few people that look like you deal with a lot of microaggressions, you deal with
Ooh.
a lot of BS all day long.
Uh,
And so managing things at work and then coming home and then having to manage all of the things there as well on the behalf of another adult, it's a lot. So
but
that's what showing up would be for me,
But
is someone
but
that is
I mean,
proactive.
I
okay.
think what's frustrating for me is if I say to the greater population, show up at your job,
They know what that
people
means.
get it. People get it. It's
Yeah,
like, oh, that means do my best at work. That means bring my A game. That means come on
exactly,
time. But
exactly.
when we say show up in a relationship, what does that look? What does that look like? That's where
Right.
I get confused. That's where I get frustrated
Mm.
Right.
across the gambit. Like now we have selective amnesia when it comes to being a good spouse in a relationship. We don't know how to do that.
Yeah.
This is scary to me. Like
Mm-hmm.
in almost all of my relationships, when I use sports analogies and analogies that deal with jobs and monies, it's like, got it. This makes so much sense. Yeah. But it's like, take that same exact same logic, copy, paste, and being a good partner. There is no difference. There's absolutely no difference. The same care and regard you have into being the perfect coworker to make sure you still keep your job, do that same shit to keep your spouse. Use that same energy, that same
Do more. Take it up a notch, because that spouse should be there after that job is long gone. Britt knows this. I had a great aunt that retired and literally passed away the next day. Like, these jobs will work you to the core. So your relationships are going to be the things that withstand all of that. So if you're not pouring that energy, you get home and it's just like, I don't want to do nothing. I ain't trying to clean nothing. I ain't trying to do nothing. I ain't trying to hear nothing. I ain't trying to talk about nothing. A problem comes up, I'm shut down. I'm stonewalling. I'm gaslighting. Is that really, is that going to be helpful and productive?
I'm dumping
That's
you.
the kind of relationship that you want, I'm sure.
Yeah.
So,
Mm. Mm.
It's taking
goodness sake.
responsibility for your partner. The access and payoff is way different.
Don't really know the context of this
Mm.
comment. So, I'm not sure.
Was it to my analogy, Joy? Just making sure we're on the same page.
You know what's wild? I ain't even put the background music on.
We don't even need it. We don't need it. Need
We didn't
it.
even need that. We just jumped into it. Um,
We don't need
Yeah.
it.
yeah, I feel like this. I feel like this is a good discussion that that needed to be had. I feel like I'm sorry. I keep going with this. I think that having a more open mind, but also having your boundaries is such a crucial thing when it comes to navigating the dating world.
Mm.
Sometimes we get so caught up in our own stuff that we miss the forest for the trees. And moving in that space requires, like Ania said throughout this, a partnership. And for you to show up and also your partner to show up as well, because without it, it's the resentment kicks in very, very fast.
Yeah.
and and then we're back to square one because now this person, you feel used. Well, this person may not actually have been using you intentionally. It just may have been an unintentional thing, but it happened nonetheless.
Yeah.
So
So
the other, go
going back to my analogy, Joy. Um, when I go to work, when I clock in at 6 o'clock, I have a list of things that need to be done. And, I'm working on a project right now. We had an introduction 3 months ago. They gave the expectations, they laid it out. They've only had to tell me once. I know what to do. And showing up, I know I have to do X, Y, and Z for this payoff.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing at my house. My husband, we talked about expectations in our relationships. He only has had to tell me once with some things. And if he has to repeat myself, like at work, if there's something that I may have missed, my manager has no problem coming back. Brittany, can we circle back to this? And, I see that you may have missed X, Y, and Z. Okay, I'll do better. Same at home. Babe, I saw that X, Y, and Z wasn't done. Okay, I'll do better. It's the same instance of showing up, wanting to be the best version of yourself. I want to be the best coworker. I do what needs to be done. I want to be the same spouse, same principle. The payoff is different. Yeah, I get money from my other job, but at my house, I get paid with love, adoration, affection, peace. They all make my life a lot better. It's
hmm
the same principle to me.
hmm I agree. I 1,000% agree. You know, because everybody, so like you said, man, they can go to their job and they be the best floor buffer you ever seen in your whole life. When they come home and it's just trash. Exactly, Diddy. Fair exchange is
And
no
that's
robbery. Like I will say that to the day I die. Fair exchange is no robbery.
yes.
If you
Like
feel that,
I dated a man, and I mean, stellar employee. I've never seen work ethic so, I mean, bomb. Bomb. Even I was in awe. Never took off work. Even sick, he pushed his way to work. Good boyfriend, not the best communicator. Didn't show up. If he was sick, it was like, oh gosh, I couldn't buy you flowers because I hurt a pinky nail, and it's like the same person but different in two different environments. But it's like I know you're capable of so much more because I see you in action at work. Just do the same shit with me. Like it's not hard.
Yeah.
The code switch, yes, the code switch. Like you have good spouses but horrible parents. I don't get it. Will show up to be boyfriend of the year, but is a deadbeat to their children. How? How?
Yeah.
it's all in the examples that they're willing to take. If they're not willing to take the examples, they're not going to show up in that certain way.
That is so wild
And
to me.
and, and that's what I really, and that's where I come in, where it comes to like, because I can't tell a woman how to show up, in a relationship. I can only talk to my fiance of like how I would need her to show up. But as far as men showing up and doing what they need to do in order to make their relationship work, I'm always going to preach that. Like you have to be as diligent as you are with, knowing all the stats of, your favorite, ball player or what have you. You got to put in that work because otherwise you're going to lose your woman like a set of house keys. So you gotta be consistent with how you are with your partner. Are you gonna have days where you feel lazy and you don't want to do shit? Absolutely. And you are granted that. As a man, as a human being, you are granted that. But when it becomes a burden on your partner,
Mm.
that's when she starts to get that itch. And then she starts coming at you with the you don't do and you feel like she's nagging at you. But if you'd have showed up, if you'd have did what you was needed to do, promise you, she ain't gonna bother you. Promise you, 9 times out of 10, she ain't gonna bother you. She gonna let you do what you need to, whatever you want to do. The house is good, she good. You know what I'm saying? If you show up for her emotionally, sexually, physically, whatever, she ain't gonna bother you. But you gotta do what you gotta do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, going above and beyond.
And I feel like women gotta do the exact same thing.
Yeah, but going above and beyond, it doesn't take that much out of you. It really does not. The little things, like Anita said, being proactive. If you walk by and you see some dishes in the sink, wash them.
Yeah.
If that's not your normal, you would be surprised how little things like that can make such an impact in someone's life.
Oh, absolutely.
Because
It's
now
one
you're
less thing. It's
saving
one less
me
thing I gotta
20,
do.
30 minutes. Yeah, you're saving me 20 and 30 minutes. Now, what can I do with those extra 20, 30 minutes?
I could
It's a
be
little
loving on
X-rated.
you like a
It's a little
motherfucker.
X-rated, but you'd be surprised. Like,
Yeah.
men, because I'm a woman and I have a man as a husband, you'd be surprised. Those little things that are proactive to you, like, oh, if I sweep this, it's little, but to her, it's a lot.
I
It,
had a coworker years ago that he was married. Well, he is married. I'm assuming he's still married. And I don't know why this is an oversharing moment, but he told me about how he wasn't getting any from his wife. And he like, I'm a good man, and I come home every day, and I, make money, and whatever. I'm like, that's great. Do you? Because they had 2 kids at the time. I'm like, do you help out with the kids? Do you take her out on dates? Do you, help out around the house? Like, are you doing the other things? A week later, he hits me up again, and he was like, yeah, I tried some of that stuff you were talking about. That worked. Sir, why did I need to tell you that? Like, I'm sorry. But I'm confused as to why that was not common sense and
We
common
get
knowledge.
into
It was like I
routine.
cracked
He's
the
a
Da Vinci
parent.
Code for
He's a
him.
father. He's a worker. He's a provider. You fall into
So
this
is
routine.
she, is my
Fall
point.
into
They're
this
doing the
routine.
same
Oh my
things.
god.
So it's like, if she's expected to carry on all those things, why don't you think that you have a place in that to assist? And that lightening her load from some of the things that she's doing would allow her both the energy and the desire to do some of the things that you want, i.e., sex.
yeah.
If I'm running ragged all day with kids, I'm working, I'm doing this, that, and the other, and you trying to get a little piece at the end of the night, I'm sorry. I'm tired. Try again. But it worked. And that's what I mean. Like, somebody showing up as a full partner is going to be a benefit to both of you all.
Right.
Many hands make light work.
Many hands.
Can't just collapse at the end of the day and feel like your job is done.
Right.
And
Like,
she's still going.
Right. Like an example, because, we show up as well for our men. Derry's a car person. So he likes to keep the cars clean. For me, I live out my car. Like, you're going to find some shoes, a purse, a couple outfits, maybe a soda, a water, some candy. You're going to find a lot of stuff. But I know that he likes a clean car. So there are some weekends I will clean the car out. And he'll be like, whoa, a clean car. But I see how that lightens his load of having to go out there and do it himself. So now I have more time with my husband, and he'll fill up my gas tank. So it's
Yeah,
a
it's a
it's
give
a
and take.
it's a win-win. It's a
Yep.
win-win for us all. So I mean, for the person on the opposite end, those little things mean so much to that person. So I think if we take the little things out of it, like, you know what, I just want to be proactive and help my person out and just do this.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Yep. All right, y'all.
Yep.
We're over time. We didn't get to our other topic. But listen, my wife, oh my gosh. Yeah. As soon as we get a weekend where I don't have to do anything, I'm gonna have to take that on. But Because Lord knows she ain't gonna do it.
Mhm.
Excuse me.
But yeah, we're over town, y'all. We like to thank y'all
Yes.
for
Well, thank you for
rocking.
having me and let
Yes,
me say
Nia, another
my two
professor.
cents on this. But
Yeah,
this was just reeling all week, and I'm like, I don't hear nothing else about a bus. Okay, I
What
don't
time
get
is
wear a
it
bus
there?
anymore.
What
Done with
time is it there?
buses. It's 7:13.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay, 2 hours behind. Okay. Yeah, we're thankful to have you on the show. We love when we have our guest professors come back and visit us. And you are
Thank
one
you
of those.
both.
Thanks for supporting us.
Thank you guys.
Yes, enjoy your time, Professor
I
Nia.
will.
Come back to
Got
the
to go work
States.
on my tan.
Don't be no passport sis. Stay over there.
listen, do what you feel.
Okay.
Do what you feel.
I'm just living my life. That's all. I
Okay.
ain't looking for nobody trying to get a green card.
Okay.
So, all right. Oh,
We
thanks,
thank y'all
Andrea.
so much. Please, if y'all feel so inclined to buy the merch,
Yes.
support us, like,
Yes.
comment, share. We like to have more and
Yes.
more people on expressing their opinions. We love everybody that's in the comments. We
Yes.
appreciate everybody that's been listening to us
Yes.
on Spotify, Facebook,
Come
and
on.
Instagram, and everything. Like we really appreciate like all
Yeah.
everything that y'all do.
And
So
it's easy to come on the show. Like, if you have a burning comment or a burning question and you got to get it out, shoot us a comment and we
right,
will invite you to the show. Easy. Ania sent it. I got to get on. Oh, say less. So
right,
that's for any and everybody out there.
right.
If you want to come on the show, drop a comment. Come on. We love to hear different perspectives because there is no right.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
No.
There's no right. Like everybody has their different views,
Yes.
and we got to be okay with that.
Yeah.
We got to be okay with that.
Now we don't, and we will not promote hate. That's the wrong on this show.
Oh yeah,
We
without
don't
question.
do hate.
Yeah,
We don't do hate.
no.
And if you hate, you will be just
We'll call out
disconnected.
some bullshit.
Yeah, we will disconnect you real
We will
quick.
definitely call out some bullshit.
We
But
will definitely.
we don't do no hate. We don't do no hate. All
We
right,
don't.
y'all. We get ready to get up out of here. It is 9:15. Jesus Christ.
How many more days to the wedding, Charles?
40 and some change. Bro, I don't know. My bad.
It's okay. You just show
like
up.
all of this is just like
Just show up. That's all we.
listen, I'm gonna be there. I promise.
Okay. No, I know you're showing up. I think you'll probably
Listen.
be the first one there. I'm
Yeah,
so excited. You're excited too. We're
I'm
excited.
very excited. I'm so very excited. I'm waiting on the day after when I can just be like
Yeah.
finally. All right.
We love you.
We
We
love
love
y'all so
y'all.
much. Thank y'all. We'll catch y'all next week, maybe. I think we'll do something else. We got another guest that we gotta work on. I'm
Mhm.
working on a really another exclusive guest.
You got, yeah. And I'm working on like more interactive shows and concepts. So
I got your email, Joy. We're I don't know about that 2 to 5 because we're both working around that time, but we'll try to figure something out.
yeah. Can I
Um,
release the idea really quickly into the atmosphere? And I need people to participate. So we have this experiment that we watch on Netflix called Love is Blind, right? Where you don't see what the other person looks like, but you get to know them through a series of questions. So I want to try that dating university style where we have somebody, we'll take some lists of required ages and locations, right? And we're going to have them on the show. We won't know what they look like. We'll just have their name and we'll allow them to dialogue, get to know one another. And if they click and if they like each other, then we'll give them the option to show their faces. And then on behalf of Dating University, since they're both going to be local, we will send them on a date.
but y'all gotta go
And
buy some shirts and stuff because
But
Because
we really want to see. I really want to see if love is blind. I really want to see that. I mean, entertainment purposes, we see it, and yes, we see one or two couples that work. But I want to try it on a local level where it's not for the TVs, it's for the few of us, and of course, y'all out there that watch it. But I think it would be a dope concept. We will know what they look like. Like we'll do interviews and stuff. We won't set you up. We won't have Chewbacca with a beauty. We're not going to do that. But we really want to see is love blind? Get to know one another. We'll ask questions like, what is your take on so and so? Then allow them to have free flowing conversation. We'll facilitate the dialogue. And thank you, y'all. I see y'all loving it. And we'll see by the end of the hour, it's like, do you guys like what you're hearing? And if they say no, we'll still let them see. We'll still let them see.
but again, y'all gotta go buy something, like for real. Like
Yeah.
y'all gotta buy something because the love may be blind, but this show ain't free. This show ain't free at
Well,
all.
that is in the works. If you know any single people
Well, we
that
gotta
would
get
be willing to do this, yeah, if you're willing to do, if you're willing to do this and you're single, or you know anyone that is single, DM the page. And once we get a nice applicant pool, then we will get to working.
yeah. I think
Don't
that
forget we do online dating workshops. I
yes,
have someone I have to reach out to from Leaders Event. Oh my gosh. Note to self.
bro. Still, the wheels is turning on that too. But I can't focus on a whole big project like that until after the wedding. Like I can't. Like I got an idea to help with the Bet on Yourself retreat. I'm gonna
Mm,
we're gonna chit chat with the founder of it, Lita Ramsey. Follow her and the Vivian Self Care Shop on Instagram. So yeah, follow her. So yeah, I got an idea. I think something's gonna work out really, really, really well. All right, y'all. It's 9:20 now, so we gotta go. We love y'all so much. Thank y'all for tuning in. Remember. Love, love, and love. That's it.
my final thought, um, eat, drink, pray.
Yes. Damn it, yes.
Eat whatever you want, drink whatever you want, and then
Because we
pray.
all gonna go away someday. So enjoy that shit while you're here. Amen. All right, y'all.
See y'all.
Peace.